So welcome to another episode of Suburban Bourbon. This is episode 3 of season 1. I'm Joe Vitale.
Joe Gummany.
And we're here at Suds Maguire, and it's at 1270 Bagley Road, although it's technically in Berea. I think a lot of Olmsted Falls folks kind of consider this partially Olmsted Falls, right, Joe?
Exactly. It's one of our favorites for sure.
So today we're going to do what we always do. We're going to find out a little bit about bourbon. We're going to find out a little bit about Suds Maguire and what makes it a fun place to visit. There's also sort of a little bit of a surprise at the end when we talk to the owner, a little bit about something else that they're doing, if you want to talk about that briefly.
Okay. So there's a new establishment next to Suds that they have opened. So we'll let the bar owner explain the concept as well as all the great stuff they're going to be doing there as well. But right now we're going to talk to Sam, the bar manager here at Suds Maguire, and talk about some of the great bourbon drinks that they provide for not only us, but all of the people in the Berea and surrounding suburbs. So Sam, thanks a lot for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So Sam, one of the things we always ask bartenders is a few kind of standard questions. You know, what makes Suds? Start off with what makes Suds special. Like, why do people like to come here?
How I consider it is that I call ourselves the local watering hole because it grabs everybody from everywhere and everyone always has a great time no matter what. If anything, we make sure that everybody has a great time and it just creates memories, and like people will come here before they deliver their kid, and it's amazing, and it's just it feels good that everybody just has a special spot here at some point.
One of the things that we love about Suds, I know from us coming here a number of times, is the menu. So can you talk about some of the things that you guys have on the menu, what you provide from a food perspective before we get into the good stuff?
Yeah, we have amazing homemade pizza. The doughs are locally made from Memphis Bakery, and they are vegan, and so is our buns, because she also makes the buns as well. And it's just, every pizza is like always its own. It's never the same because they're always hand rolled or pressed, which is amazing. And I think nothing is better than a great homemade pizza. And then we also have amazing wings when we do have our wings, unfortunately due to the wing shortage. But we also have really awesome burgers as well.
It is crazy. We see a lot of people when we're here drinking our bourbon. We see a lot of people coming and going, ordering pizza, just like you would carry-out, pizza plates. That's awesome.
And the meaty margarita is the Gummany favorite,
yes.
to be fair.
Yeah.
But we haven't had a bad one, but that's the one that we normally go to.
So let's talk a little bit about your bourbon.
Yeah.
As we often say on Suburban Bourbon, there's obviously a lot of different sorts of spirits, but we focus on bourbon and whiskey. And maybe you could tell us about some of the more popular bourbons you see. When it comes to ordering time, your stock, what do you see you go through probably the most?
Right now is the Jefferson Ocean, because everybody loves a good story with their bourbon. Although bourbon does create stories, we have bourbon that comes with stories. So with Jefferson Ocean, it is aged at sea, and it can be a couple months, it can be 9 months, it can be a couple years where it gets a little bit pricier, but you can always tell in the taste. And no matter if it's 9 months or 9 years, you're always going to have that great taste of bourbon. And with Jefferson, the barrel is actually aged at sea. And when you look up the number on the bottle, I believe the Voyage 23 right here, you can look that up, and it will tell you what port it's been to. And it's something with the waves in the ocean and where it's been and how it's been in that barrel, like in the ocean. It just creates an amazing flavor, and it's awesome.
It's been Jefferson's Ocean has definitely been one that, as we've gone to different establishments, is very popular.
Yeah.
We've loved it for years, but it definitely has had a resurgence. So
yeah,
it's great bourbon, and they must have a great rep because everywhere we go, people are talking about Jefferson's Ocean.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about one of your favorites. And by the way, I should also say, if you can kind of see behind Sam, this is an outstanding place to come and enjoy dinner or a drink. You see the outside patio. You can see there's an outside patio here and an outside bar. Tell us, Sam, a little bit about what your favorite.
My favorite is this one, Angel's Envy. My stepdad is actually a really big bourbon connoisseur, and he has his own barrel with it has to be the best to be on the barrel. So he's got his Blanton's, he's got Angel's Envy, he's got the knob, everything. And then he told me, he goes, I feel like you should try Angel's Envy. And I was like, okay. And I tried it, and it's just so smooth. It's just all the flavors just balance out completely, and it's just something to really relax and enjoy on. And that's when it felt like I really love this bourbon. And
So how do you drink bourbon? What is your favorite way?
I drink Angel's Envy on the rocks. I am more of a rocks girl. I don't like to mix my bourbons. I'll have my Makers and Ginger, but that one's my just go-to if I don't want to go too crazy. But Angel's Envy is definitely my rocks.
And I think what Joe, I think you'd agree, what we've been finding is, and this is why we like bourbon, why we even started doing what we're doing here with Suburban Bourbon, is it's so versatile, right? You have bourbons that are great in cocktails, you have bourbons that are great neat, bourbons that you can have, as you pointed out, on the rocks. I mean, it's a real versatile spirit. And I think that versatility brings with a lot of different fans, right, to the drink.
Oh, exactly. And I think especially in part of what we're going to showcase today is some of the interesting ways that bourbon drinks are concocted.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what you present to us today.
I'm excited too.
But I am like you in the sense that a lot, if I want to taste the bourbon on the rocks, you get that true taste of the bourbon. But you also, I like cold drinks.
Yeah.
It's really as simple as that. But that's good to know.
So we're going to start off today. We're going to have a few different drinks, and the first one we're going to start off with is a bourbon sweet and smooth. Joe is going to be laughing at me because it's a drink that I kind of made up when we were down at the Bourbon Trail, and it's a way to still enjoy the bourbon without overpowering it with sort of mixers, and so it's predominantly it's a choice of bourbon. With water and a splash of simple syrup.
It's a Vitale special.
It is. It certainly
is. It is a Vitale original, but I will say it definitely allows you to still taste the bourbon, which is critical in any of these drinks.
So bourbon sweet and smooth, TM, by the way. So why don't we? And Sam was kind enough to make us two of them. Why don't you tell us which bourbon did you end up using, Sam?
I used the Basil Hayden 10-year rye.
Outstanding. And that's one of your favorites,
It
Joe.
is one of my
It
favorites.
is a beautiful bourbon.
Exactly. It's a very smooth bourbon, and for a rye, because a lot of times the ryes have a little bit of spice to them, and they might be a little hot. This one is extremely smooth. So,
Yeah.
Cheers.
cheers.
They say you get a lot of cinnamon out of that one.
That's
Especially
really
with
good.
the water too, it's going to open up all that flavor, which
It's
is
really
incredible.
good.
Yeah.
This is a great. All kidding aside, it's a great sipping cocktail. It's not something that you feel you gotta hurry up and finish. It's because you could still taste a lot of the bourbon in
But
there.
but there's so much flavor, and you brought up the cinnamon, and you definitely taste that.
Yeah. And that's been the big seller on it too. It's just they're like, oh my god, you could taste the cinnamon in it. It's amazing. It's great for the fall. And I was like, well, here we go.
And then you have this amazing bar set up
Yeah.
to go with it. So
And kudos to Suds for having, if folks can see, they have the nice rock glass ice cubes that are awesome, and not just for show. There's a great reason for having these sorts of ice cubes. I think it melts evenly. It doesn't overpower what's going on in the drink, and kudos.
Thank you.
And just for you viewing it at home, Basil Hayden Rye, the 10-year rye. Pick it up at Minotti's or other liquor stores.
Or Ross Wine Liquor.
What other drink would you like to make us?
So our next drink is just a simple Manhattan. I do have the Luxardo cherry, so you guys get to have the full effect on these cocktails. It is a work in progress at the moment. We're figuring out some cocktails that we would like to feature on our fall menu, and this would be one of them. And then we're also, with creating the bourbon bar, I would like to have a list of the bourbons that we will be carrying, and the cocktails that you can enjoy to have that bourbon.
And so, Sam, you're using a Knob Creek. Is it 9-year?
It is the 9-year.
Outstanding. Can we see that really quickly? Joe?
All right. Knob Creek 9-year. So why did you select this for the Manhattan? Is this one of your more popular?
They're very popular bourbons. It's just because it's one of those bourbons. I mean, any bourbon you can just have straight, neat, like you were saying, on the rocks. In Knob Creek, I feel you can put it in any cocktail and you can't ruin it.
Totally agree.
And I'm like, if anything, it just tastes better. So.
So you've already put the Luxardo cherry in. We've got the Knob Creek 9-year.
And then a little bit of our sweet vermouth. There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's good. And you know what's interesting? Now I've had Manhattans that are chilled. You don't chill yours.
No, I like to have them neat. I try to stay away from the cold necessarily when it comes to like a Manhattan because you want to taste all those different flavors out of that bourbon without overpowering it with sometimes the water can just be too much.
And I think your idea of making this a fall menu item makes a lot of sense because
Agreed.
of that. This is really smooth, but definitely kind of
It's like
warms
a
you up.
heartier drink, don't you think, Joe? Like you can really taste, to your point, Sam, a lot of the flavor, a little spicy, right? A little bit of a bite to it, not overwhelmingly. So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can still enjoy it. We're going to do another drink, which is one of my favorites, and a little backstory. So I had, these are called smoked old fashions, and I had a smoked old fashioned. I forget where I had the first one, but I had some really good
Hyde
ones
Park?
over the years. No, it was down in Cincinnati at, believe it or not, an AC hotel, and they did one down there, and it was on a big piece of cedar, and they lit it on fire and put the glass in on top. But when I was here one time, you and another one of your coworkers here brought out this fog hat cocktail smoker, which literally that night I went on Amazon. Thank you, Amazon. We do take sponsors. I bought one immediately, and it's pretty simple. You can see there. Light that on fire, and Sam's going to demonstrate all this.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenal taste. We've seen it done in a couple different places. They do it really well here.
The first one I had was at Hyde Park, and it was exactly the same way as what you had described with AC Hotel. And this is interesting because it's a different approach with the same effect and the same results, which are really creates an interesting and awesome cocktail. It's definitely a taste that I think is worth. It's one of those that, you know, even my wife, who is not a bourbon fan,
Katie drinks a lot of bourbon.
She is more of your vodka drink. She is not a bourbon fan. She likes the smoked old fashioned. That's how much flavor it really provides.
Yeah, and to your point, it's either smoke the glass, then do the drink, or do the drink, smoke part of the glass with the drink in it. I like it smoking the glass with the drink in it. I think it just adds the flavor. So with that, Sam, why don't you give this a shot for us? I know you'll have to do two of them here.
I have both of these right here.
And what bourbon are we using?
We are going to use Angels. Because I feel like with Angels, it brings out a lot of when you smoke it, and a lot of the women love it. It's just what's amazing about these cocktails that I have to add, like with the Manhattans, with specialty cocktail. No matter how you make them, it's great for everybody. And that's why I feel like just having this place as a bourbon bar will just really group everybody together. And bourbon creates memories. You never have a bad time off bourbon.
This is the second time here in Suburban Bourbon where Joe and I like drinks that the ladies like to drink.
Exactly.
But Joe and I are both secure enough in our masculinity that we're comfortable with that.
We are totally comfortable with that.
Joe, while Sam's getting this prepared, what's your, if you had to pick between the Angel's Envy, just the Angel's Envy, sort of the regular bourbon as opposed to the rye, what's your favorite?
It's interesting. It's tough. I think for a drink like a smoked old fashioned, what I like about Angel's Envy is it's a very smooth bourbon that I think goes well with cocktails. If I'm going to drink the Angel's Envy rye, I'm probably going to drink it, on the rocks, because I like the spice that it provides. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, but I think that what Sam has picked here for this cocktail, I would prefer. But straight up, the Angel's Envy rye, I think is I prefer. I actually like a lot of ryes, so at the end of the day, I would probably pick that over Angel's Envy. But they're both great. So explain to us how you are concocting your cocktail here.
Well, I have the Luxardo cherry to help bring out a little bit of the cherry flavor. I bring a little bit of orange zest into it, as well as I use orange bitters. That's for our spring, more lighter side of the bourbon. And then I also have the orange bitters that I will be putting in here after I add my bourbon. And then this is going to look like a lot more because I have both ears in here. Just let the viewers know. Just like knock them out with a part bottle of Angel's Envy.
To Sam's credit too, is Joe and I have come here a lot with our families and other couples and whatnot. Sam is always, very friendly, and I think that's the vibe you get here at Suds Maguire. I mean, it's a friendly atmosphere. I mean, you'll have people, different walks of life. Being involved with Olmsted Falls as we are, we have kids groups that will come in here after football games and basketball games and things like that. So it's really a cool vibe. And now that they have the patio, and we'll learn a little bit more about the other bar that they just created next door. From Kenny Kuhn, the owner. It's a nice place.
I agree. I think whether you're coming here for happy hour with friends from work, you're coming here after a game to celebrate a Bulldog victory, or you're coming here with your family just to have some pizza, it really does. It serves all those purposes.
Sam's gonna make us a smoked old fashioned. So Sam, why don't you walk us through a little bit about what this is all about.
With the smoked old fashioned, as you know, a lot of our bourbon is aged. That's what makes it so beautiful. And with smoking it, I feel like it brings more out of that barrel that bourbon was smoked in. Or not smoked in, but aged in.
And how does the device work?
So it has a little strainer in it that the wood chips go in, and then it has this dome part that sits in the glass, and it has little holes that stick out. So it's like a tunnel that just spreads.
Super simple.
And super simple.
And these are really nice, and they fit totally on the glass like that, which is perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
And then we're just gonna give it a little smoke, and hopefully I don't catch you on fire. Sorry, Joe. And then let's see. And then wow, this one's like really blasting the smoke in there. It's amazing.
But as you see this happen, it's amazing how that smoke helps eat it.
And the smell is a bonus.
How that adds so much flavor to the actual drink in this process. And
So
it doesn't take a lot of time.
So we're not going to be able to drink these separately, I think. Well, I guess we could. Or together.
Give it a shot.
I will tell you, if you've never tried one, try one. I think they are just a phenomenal drink. They're certainly you think it's a fall drink, a cold weather drink, but it just adds a lot of flavor.
Exactly. I think that, man, woman, no matter what you like to drink, smoked old fashions are something that you
Thank
should
you,
definitely
Sam.
try.
That's just a great drink.
And I agree with you. It brings out so much of the flavor of the bourbon, but to have that actual smoky flavor to it.
Agreed.
This is a special drink, and the flair of how you prepare it is also cool.
Yeah. You'll see these a lot now at restaurants. I think it's sort of a thing, and as Sam had mentioned, maybe even trying to make this, use this for like a Manhattan as well.
Yeah. It's because that's what I was thinking about, is mixing it in with a Manhattan for our fall, because a Manhattan's more warm, and like so is a smoked old fashioned, but like just changing, like it's just even the bitters and the garnishes. It's a beautiful thing, and with doing it with a Manhattan, I feel like it'll bring out more of a warmth and a comforting feeling sitting at Suds Maguire's.
And for those of you at home, this is the brand the fog hat, as Joe had showed earlier.
Available on Amazon.
Go on Amazon.
Amazon will offer those.
shame.
Amazon will offer those in two ways. You can get the set, which comes with some of the wood chips, and you can get different flavors. And you can also get a version where it comes with the flame. Sam, I just wanted to take a minute and thank you so much for those watching. Sam came in on her off time, and that wasn't. I don't think you're working till later today. So we appreciate you taking the time. You're certainly pleasant when we're here. You're very welcoming when folks walk in the door. And thanks for taking the time to do this for us.
You're welcome.
Exactly.
It's my pleasure.
And thanks for showcasing not only the bourbon selection that you have here at Suds, but also the great cocktails. I mean, the one that my favorite is the smoked old fashioned, but you know, you also did the bourbon sweet and smooth, trademark Joe Vitelli, as well as the Manhattan, which we're excited to come back in the fall and try the version that you guys are going to be preparing
That's
for
right.
everyone, as you said, with the cherry bitters, which is going to be a different take. So, but thank you very much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So we're excited again that we had an opportunity here to be at Suds Maguire's here in Berea, Ohio. Although we said earlier we still think it is partly Olmsted Falls.
Yes, absolutely.
But now we're going to have a chance to meet the owner of Suds and of Ghost Pepper, which is newly brought online, if you will, probably about a month ago.
4 weeks ago.
So why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about how this all came to be here.
My name's Kenneth Kuhn. Suds Maguire started out with my Uncle Charlie, late 80s. Decided to open a bar at Bagley and Lewis, and he named it Suds Maguire's. He opened it up, was very successful, it was big in the neighborhood, everybody knew about it, and 8.5 years ago, my wife looked at me and said, hey, let's reopen Suds Maguire's out there. That's pretty much how it came about, and got the ball rolling, and a year later, we were open.
Outstanding. And it's funny, we were talking to Sam earlier in the broadcast, and it's amazing how many people from different parts of the area come here. We have Berea folks, Middleburg Heights, North Olmsted, Olmsted Falls.
Exactly, and I know from an Olmsted Falls perspective, especially after Bulldog victories, this is exactly where
Yep.
you want to go. And we appreciate the support you have given the Bulldog Nation.
Absolutely.
You know,
We do
throughout
as
the
much
years.
as we can with anything with the schools and the kids, and we do a lot of dine to donates for like the post prom, and we have one coming up at Ghost Pepper for the Olmsted Falls post prom this year. We get on the Bulldog cards, we get the $5 discounts, and anything we can with the kids, the schools, you know, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, you know, we do what we can.
Why come here? Tell our audience, you know, if you have a family or you're just out with your buddies, why come to Suds Maguire?
Suds Maguire's turned out to be a very family-oriented place. We opened it up to be a tavern that served good food. It turned out being in the middle of all these neighborhoods and a lot of families that it became very family-friendly. We have video games. We have games in the back for the kids. Funny story is a lot of guys that come in with their families are like, hey, when I was a kid, I was bowling on the old machine at Suds Maguire's, and my mom and dad were there eating fish and burgers. So now look at us. We're here eating, and our kids are over there playing on the machines. Everything comes full circle. It's a very close-knit community. But like I said, we didn't realize it was going to be so family. So then we kind of rode with the family-friendly, and you know, it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know from whether you're here with your family, like you said, meeting with some buddies after work, it's a great place. And the menu, I know that from a pizza perspective, one of the best pizzas in the area.
Yes.
And
You wouldn't think, like,
Exactly,
you know, of
I
this
mean-
as your top, but we come here for pizza all the time.
it's a great menu, but that's one of my favorites.
We go through 300 pizzas a week. We go through more pizzas in a week than some of the pizza shops do. Our Mondays are half price. Whether you order it to go or whether you come in, you can't complain about that. And
I'm writing that down, Mondays.
Yes. I already have it in my calendar.
But yes, no, the pizzas came out very well. My wife and I went to Italy for 21 days. Every day we had a caprese salad and margarita pizza. Every day we asked the chefs how they make the pizza and sauce, you know, and how they do it. And it was all pretty much the same across the board. We brought it back here, we copied it, and it's been great ever since.
So it sounds, based on our conversations, you and your wife have done a lot of traveling to get different ideas and implement them here.
My wife and I like to travel. We travel a lot, and we do bring a little idea back with everywhere we've been. For instance, our 50-50 burger on our menu found it in San Diego. You know, and I talked to the people there. I said, hey, pretty much, I'm going to steal that. Well, where are you from? I said, Cleveland, Ohio. They're like, that's far enough, you know. And that's 50% smoked pork belly ground up and mixed with 50% chuck to create a burger. You know, you don't get it anywhere else. It's great flavor. It's got that smoky flavor, that bacon flavor to it. And, you know, just something a little different. We created a menu that was try to be better than anybody else around, try to be different than anybody else around. When we opened 7.5 years ago, we knew if we put out a good product that we would be successful. And so far it's worked.
So you probably do all the ordering, all the spirits.
I do.
So what is your most popular bourbon here at Suds Maguire?
Well, every day it's changing. I mean, since you guys were here last, I probably got 4 or 5 more new ones in. We got the Whistle Pig.
Yes.
You know, we got a nice supply of Angel's Envy now. You know, I don't know, Sam's been doing a really good job with the bourbons. Like I said, since you guys have been here, we probably got at least 5 or 6 new ones in.
Outstanding.
Sam does all the liquor ordering. I don't know, but I know we actually have a book coming out with bourbons in it, you know, with the different drinks and, you know, and the different varieties, and, you know, kind of like we have over next door with the tequila, with the whole tequila page, you know, split up with each one, whether it's a rye, you know, a bourbon, you know.
Maybe
so.
do flights, or would you things like that?
We were talking about it, but I don't want to steal the thunder away from Ghost Pepper with the flights yet.
Makes sense.
You know, because people come in for these tequila flights, you know, and I don't want to take that thunder away from my wife yet.
Nice. Yeah, I can understand that.
So you did mention another endeavor you have going on here, Ghost Peppers. Tell us a little bit about it.
Ghost Pepper is right next door to us. It's its own entity right now. It used to be a party room. We opened it up as a party room 7 years ago, or 6 years ago, and it was successful. Well, COVID came, it sat empty for 15 months. Same bills, same costs I had. Called my wife one day, 12 weeks ago, 13 weeks ago, and said, hey, do you want to turn the party room into its own entity? And she said, yes, a tequila taco bar. So, of course, got excited. Next day we started construction. We went and did some traveling around the country, got different ideas for different tacos, tequilas, you know, and we started the ball rolling with that. We opened up 4 weeks ago. It's been successful. We wanted to make it a place cooler than anything around. When people walk in, I love their expressions because they just say like, wow, or this is cool. That's what we wanted. I mean, it's different than anything around. It's different than anything downtown. And, you know, we brought a couple ideas from Chicago and Vegas, and they're always a little bit ahead of us. So, and we brought it in, and I mean, it's been a great endeavor so far.
So what about the tacos? What are some of the examples of the tacos that you guys have on the menu and you've...
I mean, our tacos are a little different than everybody else's. Everything is made fresh daily. We're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 4 o'clock. So that gives us all week to make everything fresh. My favorite taco is the Floridian. It's a blackened grouper, and it's got a pineapple salsa on top of it with fresh coconut. And the Korean taco is my next one. It's marinated flat iron steak with, I don't know what else is on, but
But it's good.
it's my second favorite. One of our biggest sellers over there is the fried ice cream. I mean, we take a nice ball of French vanilla ice cream, roll it in cinnamon sugar, we roll it in frosted flakes, we deep fry it, we deep fry a tortilla, we add cinnamon sugar to that, put the ice cream on top of it, and we put whipped cream and chocolate on top of that. I mean,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
That
wrong
is,
at
Well,
all.
and you're a bigger connoisseur of tequila than I am, but I mean, going over there, I mean, the selection was amazing.
We started
Yes.
out with 80 so far. We were hoping to have 200 when we open, but because we know what's been going on, that's kind of impossible to do. But every day the tequila list grows. One thing we did do that I love is in our tequila flights, we do 1 ounce pours. That way, you could try a Don Julio 1942 and not pay $40 to try it. You could try it for $20, you know. And how that came about is we were in Miami 6-7 weeks ago, and I got a shot for my wife to try. We paid $48, and she didn't like it. We dumped it down the drain. You know, so I'm just like, you know what? If we do these 1 ounce pours, that's how we're going to sell these higher end tequilas, the Patron Platinums and the Michael Jordan tequilas, and you know, and so that's what we started doing, and that's been very successful because people can come in now and sample a high end tequila and not break the bank.
and I can say I got introduced to tequila a few years back, and when you try really good tequila, it is a differentiator. And so I really do appreciate that you have the opportunity for people to try
other kinds,
things
yeah,
that
yeah.
they're probably never going to buy a bottle of, but want to get
No,
a
that's
taste.
exactly what I hear too. Is people are like, like when I was young, you had El Toro, Cuervo Gold, the high-end was 1800, and you had Monte Albar with the Worm, the mezcal. I smell these tequilas. I do not drink, but I smell them, and I'm like, these things smell amazing. One of the biggest things I hear from people are like, I have never had, people are always like, oh my God, tequila. Oh, I've gotten fights on it. The biggest thing I get over here now is like, wow, this is like really good. This is like not like what I remember. And that's really nice to hear because what it does, it broadens the market for these people, and they're trying new things.
Yeah, college tequila is not the same as Ghost Pepper. So
Exactly
please
right.
set that aside and give it a try.
Yes, and I mean, so far so good. I mean, it's been really well. We will be on Channel 8 on September 23rd on New Day Cleveland. They're going to run a special on us, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We were in the Plain Dealer a couple weeks ago. We were on Cleveland.com, and it's been really good so far.
No, that's fantastic, and I can't wait. As you've talked about some other events and ways to actually
Yes.
get invited to, I believe it's on
Yes,
Tuesday
if you-
nights.
If you get on our website and you go to the VIP and you sign up for the VIP, one Tuesday a month we're going to do a special event. You will not know what it is. You'll get an invitation to it. You'll get a password. You'll give us a confirmation. When you come in that day, it might be something from Taco Tuesday, just some fun, like a mariachi band. It might be a beautiful tequila dinner where, a tequila company's bringing in high-end tequilas and we're pairing it with foods. Like, for instance, the wine business. My wife was in the wine business for 16 years. This is what she did. So everyone's going to be different. Every one of them's going to be trying to be sponsored by a different tequila company. That way, people come in to try a tequila that they've never even heard of before. And there'll be prizes, there'll be fun, there'll be gifts. So we just figure we'll make it a little fun. That's where the speakeasy part comes in. You'll get the word to get in. The doors close at 6:15. The event's at 8:15, and it's over.
So we appreciated the opportunity to be here at Suds and
Absolutely.
have a chance to. We're going to have a chance to take a look inside of Ghost Pepper. But tell us the address again.
The address of Suds Maguire is 1270 West Bagley, Berea, Ohio, 44017.
Come check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Absolutely, and thanks again. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks,
Anytime.
Kenny.
You know
Thank
that.
you.